Are you going through a spiritual awakening? Are you becoming a little more aware of yourself and having trouble identifying who your friends are or if you even have any anymore? In this video, I'm going to be giving you 4 things that you can do and look for to really determine friendships. But before we get started, please take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. And I just want to let you know I'm doing some free breakthrough calls. There's a link pinned in the comments section below. These are awesome 30-minute calls where we get on Zoom, we go over your vision for your life, what you want to create, what's been stopping you, what's been blocking you, the issues that have been coming up, and some things you can do to resolve them finally to create a life that really makes you feel fulfilled. Spiritual awakening, spiritual ascension, these are all very common topics at this point in time, and a lot of people are in the middle or at the beginning of or some step of the process of a spiritual expansion. One of the most frustrating things that can happen is we tend to lose our old life. Now, what in life do most people want the most? Well, a lot of people do want money, they want the house, they want all that stuff, and that's important because it's security. But what people want the most is love, is connection, is support, is to feel seen, heard, and cared about. And when we begin to grow, a lot of times our old life just simply has to fall away. Can you relate to this? Are you going through a transitional phase in your life where you no longer resonate with the people that you used to? Or were you never able to resonate with people? This is something that's very common for more spiritually minded, conscious people, is this sort of loner, outcast, black sheep, can't find my tribe sort of thing. And I've met a lot of people recently through clients I have and people in certain support groups that I'm part of, after years of feeling like I was all on my own, who have shown me that like there are so many people out there that all feel this way. They all feel like left out, isolated, set aside, like wherever they go, they're the only one who gets anything. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you 4 things you can do to really determine whether your current friends are your current friends. Because I find friend to be a very misused and overused term. I've had people call me their friend, and I'm like, we're not friends. We're not going to be friends, not like that. But we are acquaintances. We might be good acquaintances. It takes a long time for me to grant someone the title of being a friend. So what's the first thing to look for in your friend group to determine whether or not they are actually a friend? 1, do they ever reach out to you? So in a proper, healthy friendship, it should be a balance of give and take. Now, one person might reach out a little more than the other. It doesn't need to be exact, but it should be about balanced. If you are always the one reaching out to them to see how they're doing, to see if they want to hang out, to make plans, ask yourself, if you were to stop doing that, what would happen? Would they reach out to you, or would it just fall away? And this is something I used to do when I was a kid. I would kind of notice, like, you know what? I'm always the one initiating this relationship. What would happen if I just stopped? And sometimes I would stop and I'd never hear from the person again. But then I would know, you know what? This isn't really a friend. It's not a good use of my time, and I would let it go. What's the second thing you want to look for? Well, do they ask you questions, or are you always the one asking all of the questions? Granted, we have different communication styles. Some people aren't as prone to asking other people questions or showing interest, but in a spiritual friendship, in a spiritual relationship, or just a good, decent friendship, the person should be interested in you also. So if you're always the one asking questions, watch it. Are you people pleasing? Are you just trying to get their approval? Do you want something from them that they don't necessarily want? And if this is the case, same thing as the first one. Stop. Stop giving too much of your energy to people who are not reciprocating or balancing it. Because what that's doing is it's blocking you from finding the people that will be your friends. Number 3, ask this question. Are the people you're hanging out with helping you to grow or not? Do you find yourself becoming a better person or expanding or seeking to expand by your relationship with your friends? Or are they just either A, taking your energy, taking whatever they can from you and not offering anything back, or just filling a void? Are they just there because you don't know what else to do and you don't want to be alone? I remember being in like junior high or elementary school, and I spent a while hanging out with certain groups of people that I didn't really feel like were my friends. Because why? I didn't want to just be the one that stood alone on the playground or the yard. Now, eventually, I realized that these people weren't really necessarily close friends, and so I found other groups of people to hang out with. But we all have this fear of being ostracized from the group and being by ourselves. Well, sometimes you got to go through that to find who you truly are. And then when you find who you truly are, you will actually call in people that really are there for you. But it's really hard to find people who are going to be deeply invested in you if you're not invested in yourself. In a healthy, aligned, heart-centered way is what I mean by that, not in a narcissistic way. So ask that question. Like, are you becoming a better person? Are you evolving? Or are they just placeholders so that you don't have to feel loneliness? And the fourth thing you can do is, if you start to realize that these people are not your friends, let them go and understand that your identity is shifting. It kind of connects to number 3, but we tend to be a conglomeration of like the 5 people we hang out with the most. So if you hang out with like 5 completely broke people, you're probably going to have a story that it's impossible to make money. If you were to go hang out with 5 millionaires, all of a sudden you would see how easy it is to make money. So if you hang out with 5 people that don't give a shit about you, you're going to have a story that you're worthless, that you're not deserving, that you're incapable of friendships, that the people that you want don't exist, they're not out there. But because of that story, and because you're keeping those people's energy in your space, you're blocking out the ones that would be your friends. So understand that by cutting the cord, you are actually completely shifting your identity. And sometimes it just takes time. Sometimes you have to go through a phase where you're by yourself a bit. Like I said, figure out your values, figure out what's honorable to you, what you like to do, what you're interested in, where you want to go. And if you don't know, that's okay too. Give yourself the space to just not know. But while you're not knowing, what you're going to do is you're going to go into a space of openness. Because if you're hanging out with a lot of people that aren't really your friends, you're staying closed. A lot of times people want to go from a shitty situation to an amazing one without anything between. But it doesn't usually work that way. A lot of times you have to clear the energy out of your space, out of your life, balance, recalibrate, and then the next step will come to you and the next people will come to you. Sometimes this can take years. It may not. I'm not trying to put that in your head. But sometimes in a spiritual awakening, it does take longer than we want. But just trust and know that it will come if you invest in yourself. Because you're telling the universe, when you go to shift your identity, that these people no longer serve me, that I deserve better than this. And eventually the universe has to answer, and it has to send you the ones that will help. And then the last thing that you can do too is really evaluate your definition of what a friend is. And understand it's not your fault if you don't have a lot of true friends, because most people don't. Most people really don't. True friends are very hard to find, but that's not because they're not out there. It's because the planet is so traumatized and so many people are stuck in their own shit, and they're not even doing the work that you're doing. They're just unconscious and drawing in people to fill holes from a place of ego, that there's less of a pool out there of real aligned, like evolved people. But more and more of the planet is doing this work, and they are questioning their values, and they are realizing that they want to evolve. And so there are a lot more opportunities than ever before, and that's only going to expand. So what do you want in a friendship? What does it mean to you? Like we never took time to write this stuff out as children, because we just inherited these sort of broken, half-assed definitions of relationships, friendships, careers, business paths, and nobody knows. Like I'm reading this book right now. I was talking about how it's not, so there was a quote in it saying something to the extent of that most people don't really need to learn how to think positively. They just need to learn how to think, period. None of us were taught how to think at all. So we're just operating unconsciously based on the inherited crap that we received. And it's okay. Like I said, you're not the only one. There's a shit ton of people out there. Almost everyone feels the way that you feel. But you can change that. And you got to get clear in your mind. What do you value? What do you respect? How do you want to be treated? How do you deserve to be treated? And then start giving that to yourself and trusting that when you take the risk or the leap to go out of your comfort zone and leave your old life behind, the new one will follow. But it can't if you're clinging on to it because there's no room for it. Let me know how this goes. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns, revelations, breakthroughs. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I do have a free energy clearing in the description below. If you want to download it, it can help you do some clearings on, past stuck patterns and blockages. Other than that, thank you so much. I look forward to next time, and peace.